Okay, we're just doing some simple artwork. We need to design characters for a game that we make because we make games. Here in the jungle, this cartoon ape makes games. And one of those games is a battle card game, and we are designing the characters that go on the battle cards. There's 50 of them, so we have a lot of work. We're doing a little bit at a time. We'll do one today. Another example of games we make here is down below. It's called Small Towers. The bots are just showing off the game. I ran into some viewers that didn't, have never seen the word Q before. Now, I think I used to call the command that people could use to join the game, to get in line, to be made, I think I said next match was the command, right? So I was saying, like, I got next, basically. And a smart friend said, why don't you just say Q? Because that's what that means. It means to line up. It's like, yeah, that's pretty smart. But I ran into some people who had never seen this word before. I saw them trying to do command QUE NE. I saw them try this, and I'm like, well, that's not it. And I mean, I don't want to, like, here's the thing. So here we're talking about design, right? That's what we like to do on this channel. And our focus is always on the player and what they need. So here's a player that we found who needed to have that made plain. What is the command to join the game, right? And command Q is what we have right now. I mean, that's what it is. It's sort of like the key to unlock it all, because you join the game and then you'll start playing and then you can use the other commands because you're a player, yada, yada, yada. Well, it brings up a great point. Like, should we teach players that there is a word called Q that means to line up, and here's an example of it? That's not unlike Valorant. Valorant actually uses the same word to mean the same thing. Like, literally, streamers who stream Valorant also have a card, like in queue. Like that. I don't know. It did bring up a point, like, how far do you go to accommodate a player as opposed to teaching the player and following what games do, which is teach? I mean, it's not a completely unrelated topic. Today we're making a character design, and there's an interesting wrinkle to that. And I want to be sensitive about it. At the same time, we do just need to draw. This is an art stream. We're going to draw. Fair? We have a battle card game, and we started with a bunch of silly names. We have 50 cards. And we started with 50 names. Rocket Dragon, Cougar Gun. These are goofy names. Yes, they are. Lightning Toad, Rock King, War Unicorn. These are crazy names, Powder Keg, Inversion Bomb, Electric Dog. I mean, this is not taking itself too seriously. It's meant to be, at once, over the top power plus silly. Okay? So we've done a lot of them, and we're almost halfway, actually. This is the 20th one. We just did Unstoppable Force, which was hard. I also did Immovable Object, and So here we are on this one, and I realized, first of all, there's a spelling issue, But also, we really have to actually look at this word. All we have to work on is the character design, but all we have to go from is the name that I just threw down as a list of names, just blah, 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 and then moved on because I was in the middle of making a game. Well, okay. I want to be sensitive about this. The name is Casted Curse. Now, curse. Okay, we can go down the road of like, wow, what the heck is the shape of that? Like, we have to do character design. What is the shape of a curse? What is that, right? And then casted. Okay, this is where we need to talk a bit. So I want to be sensitive, and I want to be legit, and I also want to maintain, we need to maintain the themes of the game. Over-the-top power, sure. Doesn't take itself too seriously. Okay. Unfortunately, this word has a lot of meaning that is more than what we thought. And I need to spend some time on this for a second because casted is not technically a word anymore. It used to be the past tense of cast, as in cast a fishing line, as in cast a spell. Well, cast is also part of another word that we, it's actually part of several words, right? It's actually also related in terms of old school English. It is also related to castle, in that the wardens of castles and stuff like this had some form of this word. I think it's like Castellon or something like that. Like there's forms of this here that refer to actually the castle. Okay, and so old school English actually used this word casted as part of a whole bunch of words that related to not just castle, but the system that was going on at that time, which is otherwise known as a caste system. Okay, so here's where I want to get sensitive about it, but then we need to pull it back to, please, let's not take ourselves too seriously. Bear with me for one moment. This is just a name that I threw down, and now I want to address it. Curse, fine, we're going to figure that out. Casted isn't really a word. Casted is no longer considered the past tense of cast. Instead, you just say cast. That's the word. So we could change this name. Cast. Curse. So, yes. And in fact, that might be the simplest solution, except, like I just mentioned with the word Q, people may not know what this means. Right? They may not realize that that is the past tense of cast. Should we care about that? Or should we rely on the fact that we're teaching them? You see where I started with this? So we may just do that. Why do I need to be so sensitive? What's going on? Why is this not serious? Well, because the word cast has an entirely different meaning now. Casted is no longer a word. It's no longer the past tense of cast, but it used to be. In ancient English, or Old English, it was the past tense of cast, and so this would have been a real word. I think that's where I was in my head when I just threw these words down. But now I'm having to deal with it. Okay, how far do we want to take this? Because casted could also mean that this is a curse. Okay, whatever the curse thing is, let's say it is a thing, right? Let's pretend it is a character for now. Okay, fine. But it has been thrown into the caste system. It is part of the caste system. Caste, C-A-S-T-E. By the way, this is the name of a great book. Cast. Well, the reason I need to be sensitive about this is because this is essentially saying there are those who are that belong because of who they are. They belong in a higher status, and those who belong in a lower status. In this channel, we are inclusive of everyone. That's now I'm being serious because we are. I'm here to talk about games and game design, and first of all players are cool, but also all people are cool. Heck, even cartoon apes are cool. Please, chill. No, You see where we just dove straight into we dove into taking ourselves too seriously. Whoops. So first of all, this is not the theme of the game. And wow, I don't really want to offend players and take them out of the game. It's actually, in terms of design, it's pretty serious, because if I just suggest this word, I could be suggesting a whole lot of seriousness that I didn't mean to. For that reason alone, I would almost want to assert we are absolutely going to say cast curse instead of casted, so that we avoid this altogether. And so I want to do that. At the same time, this is talking about a horrible system where just because of who you are placed at higher or lower status. In fact, a caste system says there are many levels. There are completely arbitrary rules based on who you are. You cannot move up or down. And those at the higher status rely on this caste system. Those in the lower status have somehow accepted this caste system, and it's horrible. How you get rid of this horrible system is to not accept it. Blah, blah, blah. Well, what if you're cursed? As an artist, I hate to do this, but I need to chase this down for a second. Casted curse, as opposed to cast curse, could mean something far more horrible than what I was originally thinking. I was thinking, all right, cool. Let's do casted curse. We have this, creature who's been cursed, and they are doomed to walk, and among us they are, you get where I'm going with this. And maybe, right, like this. Or maybe it is the voodoo doll thing. I mean, this is where I was going. I mean, honestly, this is kind of where I was heading. Oops. Hi. Okay, and I don't want to make this like the serious stream, but I do need to chase this down for a second. In fact, I don't necessarily want to go the ghoulish zombie sort of look anyway. Oops. I would rather go this route with this in terms of curse a million times over. This would be great. I'm down. Let's do it. This technically would be like the cast curse, like a curse you have cast on the enemy, right? And it could even be more than that, but I want to be careful about this, right? In light of what I was just talking about, I could throw the player out of the game because they're immediately thinking of stuff that is horrible. This is a non-trivial problem. We know that if we, just in terms of design, this is a non-trivial problem. Just in terms of being cool, I think it's also a problem. But if I say cast curse, and I show you this, you get it. And I think we're understanding. Like, I'll put a little needle on here or something, or put it in a box or something. You get the idea. Little voodoo doll. I got to be honest, even saying voodoo we got some things to think about. But if I put all this together, I am definitely bringing up some issues, and I don't mean to. This game does not mean to bring up issues and pull the player out of the over-the-top fantasy fun stuff. So we got a problem. I can't say cast without addressing that issue. Like, I can't do that. And as tough as it is to teach people that cast means the past tense of cast, as well as the present tense, it would be even tougher to teach people what cast is about and avoid the heavy content it means. Because when you think about it, I am king of a castle, and this is my prince or whatever, and these are the governors, and this is the ward, and then these are the peasants. That caste system, or worse, is terrible. They are arbitrary rules that are asserted for the entire life of the person, which is awful. It is a curse. It's not wrong. It is a curse. It's terrible. But we don't want to assert that in our game. We don't want to remind people of that in our game. We don't want to go there in our game at all. So, did I say casted curse? Yes, and I'm now going to say it is now cast curse. I'm going to change the name. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to stay strict to this stuff and just work within the bounds of the thing, but this is way out of bounds. This is not okay. I need to do this. And so, this is now this. There. It is a cast curse. Okay, let's run far away from the heavy, because I don't want it to be heavy. This is heavy enough. Let's not do anything more. In fact, let's do the cartoony big old hat pin needle in the voodoo doll and be cartoony for a moment, because I need to get away from that. This is way too heavy. It is not a subject to be taken lightly. It would be insensitive to take it lightly and pretend that that's okay, and to pretend that that making light of it is just normal and not a big deal. In fact, it's kind of a big deal, and it's actually worth more education. It would be wrong to educate in the way that this game educates rules of the game. It would be wrong to do that in this way here. And I don't want to be wrong. I definitely don't want to take the player out of the player experience. That's, just in terms of game design. That's the danger. We don't want to do that. So we're not going to do that. To say casted curse. I kind of like the idea of putting it in a box, actually. It's kind of cool. Part of what some voodoo relics that have been found did was they were put in boxes to trap, the victim. I never did that yet. Hold on. So cast can also mean thrown, right? Like cast a fishing line, cast the spell, right? It is launched. I'm kind of down with this voodoo doll idea, actually. Let's explore that for just a moment. Because, if it's, anything else like a spell or something, then we got to do like this, these, magical lines of something, something to sort of say, yeah, this spell is launched at you. Roar. And visually, how do you explain that? Like, that isn't, I don't even know how to go there, right? We've already done some really tough ones. I would love this one to be simple. I want this one to be straight up recognizable. This is, by the way, a luck card. Right? We have a power card, defense card, speed card, health card, and a luck card. In other words, this is the kind of card that if you're about to defeat it, will come back and actually defeat you. So this is more in line with what we're talking about anyway. To be fair, I think that's where I was thinking anyway. It's just, yeah, whatever. I'm gonna get over it. I'm gonna whoops. We're fixing the problem. Okay, the problem was we want to assert that the name refers to a luck card, a very powerful luck card that that has the power to like avert death and turn it around, like kill the attacker, which is what a luck win does. I literally cannot draw straight lines with this tablet. I know I'm being pretty sensitive about that, but let's be honest. It deserves some sensitivity. I think it's proper to do this. I mean, this alone has some issues. I'm totally ignoring that right now. But it also has the kind of fantasy power that we're talking about. Enough that I'm down. I'm okay with this. This is all right. Okay. And that was totally by accident. I had no idea. And so I'm glad we're correcting it. Okay. So I think this is what we're saying. I think if this is like small and simple, then the luck element of it is accented because these other things are totally over the top. So if this is like on a wooden table or something, or in a wooden box. Let's try that. If I just... I have the hardest time drawing straight lines. I literally have to pick up my stylus, move it to a different place in space, and I'm doing so without looking. I mean, it's literally me looking at this page instead. There's just too much that's wrong with this. I need to really think about the upgrade. Can't do it now, though. Alright. We make do with what we have. We're okay. This is less than successful in terms of straight lines. I suppose I could actually do a tool that does straight lines better. I guess that would be smart. this tool would do that. But I'm also trying to just draw. Okay. This is kind of what we got going on. It's not awful, which is better. But also, like, I think it's communicating. It is supporting the word. It is supporting the name that is given. It is a casted curse. This is really hard to draw the straight line. It's really, really hard. It's far too hard. It takes too long. I want to get done with it, right? That's what makes me mad about it. So, if that's what we're talking about, then, can we assert that this is a wooden box? That would be nice. Actually. Spending more time on the box. It's okay. It's part of the curse. So in character design, you know, we are looking for the qualities about the shape, the details of the character that are necessary to communicate what this character is about. When we do the portrait later, and this is actually coming too close to the portrait, but you get the idea. We do the portrait later, we're going to have this to refer to, and it's going to help us we need a lid, don't we? That's what makes this curse-like. Yeah, we need a lid. Let's go ahead and put some edges on this. Let's put the lid behind it. Is that going to read? I don't think it's going to read. I'm going to say let's put the lid under the box. It'll just look like a square. That won't read. It won't make sense visually what's going on. This is at least... I'm coping, but this is at least, you know, supporting the idea of curse. So we're in the ballpark. Yeah. Is it wildly successful? Heck no. It is supposed to be simple, and therefore there's parts of it that I can kind of get behind. Because it is darn simple, that's for sure. No doubt. No doubt. This one wasn't going to be as hard as the other ones we've been doing. Simple is okay. And we're going to have to... Boy, now I'm coming back to the problem of cast. I think cast like a spell is fine. We'll just leave it there. Cast like a spell is fine, and therefore it doesn't need to be thrown. It's not a thing. It is cast. It has been cast. It is the cast curse, right? We're pretty good with that, right? I'm coping. Yeah. Yeah, it was heavier than I wanted it to be to start with. I'm happy to like have it not be so heavy. That said, it does communicate curse. We say cast curse. It's a luck card. It's going to work in your favor and turn around death blows and defeat the attacker instead sometimes. Oh, like I get it. I see this visually and I say, I got it. Makes sense. As in all design tasks we do, I reserve the right to come back here and be like, okay, this really needs to be addressed. But for now, this will work. For now, this will work. I need to just get over it. It was an accidental issue that we needed to deal with, and we've dealt with it. Done. Done. The thick, dark outlines, I've mentioned this before, but it's the simplest way to say this has weight. And so putting these thick, dark outlines on the bottom, for sure, says heavy. It's just a subtle subconscious indicator to the viewer. We can also put it on the edges and have the same effect of saying it is separate and heavy. Sure, we can do that. I'm going to do it a slightly thinner line, then we call it done. So separate, thinner line on this edge, thicker edge on the bottom for weight. And again, I cannot draw a straight line to save my life with this tablet. Yay. Okay. Oh, goodness. I saw the name of this one. Oh, no. I can't just gloss over that. And I don't want to just ignore it either. Let's pretend for a moment, this is awful to say, but let's pretend for a moment that that was actually presenting an opportunity. That it's so horrible, it's a great idea. Well, it's not. We went down that road and we figured out, no, that's really just not cool. The primary factor that, said that, all stuff aside, is that if the player is suddenly taken out of the game in order to consider these really heavy things, well, we just lost. There's no game. So all ability for us to then affect, communicate to the player about stuff that is good, went out the window because we lost the player. So therefore, this makes more sense. Coping. Totally coping. Cast curse. This has been an art stream. Struggling with semantics. Yep. We did our best. What's going on, bots? Talk to me. Can you help me just be a nerd and help me forget things? Sure, that sounds good. You can just talk to me. Tell me, what are the stats? Oops, hi. That's not what I meant to do at all. I thought I had just done this. No, I did not. So now talk to me, bots. Alright, stats. There you go. Bots say in our short stream today. Short stream. Actually spawned a wizard, did some upgrades. Nice. I like it. Played a few games. That's great. Good job, bots. A+. Man, I need to go in and change that name in the in our game called Shuffle Wars. This game is called Small Towers. That game is called Shuffle Wars. It is a battle card game. It is meant to not take itself too seriously. So I hope this cartoon ape was able to pull this out of the too serious column and back into the not so serious column today. By the way, the tricky bit was the fact that we couldn't, we needed to respect the issue at hand. And that was touchy, but I think we did it. I'm coping. In a jungle, we make games as well as play games, and if you're interested in making games, you know what? I say you can do it. We prove this by moving one step at a time. The game down below was made with small steps just like that, and you can do that. If you like that idea, then show up, because not only do we do art and play games, but we also make games. And so follow and be notified, and when you do show up, please use Command Tie. Command Tie lets me know you're here, and I can say you are here. Until then, have fun, do well, be good, stay safe, happy holidays. See ya.